The average NFL career lasts a little over 3 years, which means most, if not all, former players need careers after football. We see many go into broadcasting, media, coaching, training, or just go on to live normal lives with their families. But today, we're gonna go over a list of 5 former NFL players, some star players, who now work unique or peculiar jobs after football. Blake Martinez not only led the NFL in tackles during the 2017 season, but more impressively, led the entire league in tackles over a 4-year span. After a torn ACL in 2021, Martinez started to shift his focus away from football and more towards another passion: Pokemon cards. Yeah, a 6'3", 237-pound linebacker collecting Pokemon cards. Who would have thought? In early 2023, it was announced that Martinez made over $5 million in revenue just off selling cards. He started his own trading card company called Blake's Breaks, and even sold a single card for as much as $675,000. However, this story had a more disappointing turn as Martinez was banned from Whatnot, which is a platform to buy and sell trading cards. It was reported that he was scamming customers, leading the company to ban him from the site. Martinez stated that a lot of things aren't true, but as we sit here over a year later, his business seems to be inactive at the moment. He unretired to briefly play in 2022 for Vegas and played 1 game for the Steelers in 2023. But we have not seen Martinez in football since. During his playing career, he made almost $30 million and reportedly got up to $11 million from his card business. So I would say he's doing alright. The next player on our list is most known for signing a huge free agent contract with the Eagles in the summer of 2011. Cornerback Nnamdi Asomugha spent his first 8 seasons in Oakland, where he made 3 Pro Bowls and 4 All-Pro teams before signing a 5-year, $60 million deal to join Philly. As we know, the Eagles' dream team, quote-unquote, fell well short of expectations, and that included Asomugha, who was cut just 2 years later. After a very short stint with the Niners in 2013, Nnamdi was done with football and focused his time on acting and producing. He appeared on shows like Friday Night Lights and Leverage during his playing career, but post-retirement, he was able to focus on movies and producing. Asomugha produced and appeared in Crown Heights, Silly's Love, and most recently a film called The Knife. It's been quite the career post-football, but without football, there may have been no acting. Apparently, Asomugha received compliments from directors while shooting commercials during his playing days, and that encouraged him to pursue acting even further. Edge rusher Brian Arakpo and safety Michael Griffin each played 10 seasons in the NFL. Although Arakpo may have been most known for playing Scrabble with a caveman on TV, both he and Griffin had very strong playing careers. The two were teammates at the University of Texas from 2005 to 2006, and became teammates again 10 years later at the pro level in 2015 with the Tennessee Titans. During their season together in Tennessee, Arakpo and Griffin would often visit a place called Gigi's Cupcakes, and eventually turned that into a business venture. They wanted to open a shop like Gigi's and bring it to Bee Cave, Texas. When they opened their shop, Griffin admitted it was harder to run the store than it was to play football. Arakpo was the decorator, Griffin was the baker, and their longtime friend Brian Heinsohn was working the register. They even had their own TV show called The Cupcake Guys, which went on for 1 season and 12 episodes. The company is still going strong, and almost a decade later, the 3 men are still working together. Next, we have a man who is most known for something called the Peanut Punch. Cornerback Charles Tillman played 13 seasons in the NFL, 12 of which were with the Bears, and his last on the 15-1 Panthers in 2015. Tillman, whose nickname was Peanut, given to him by his aunt, specialized in punching footballs, resulting in a ton of forced fumbles. Tillman to this day actually has the most forced fumbles in NFL history for a non-pass rusher. If you look at the all-time forced fumble list, the top is just littered with edge rushers. And then there's just Charles Tillman. After his retirement in the summer of 2016, Tillman completed a 20-week training academy for the FBI, and in 2018 he officially joined the FBI. It was perfect timing because according to FBI guidelines, you cannot enter duty no later than 37 years old, and Tillman just made it in time. There was even a story that Tillman was part of a group of feds that raided the house of Chicago rapper Lil Reese, and Reese actually recognized Tillman. While they've tried to keep it under wraps as much as possible, there's enough verification to know that Charles Tillman does in fact work for the FBI. Martellus Bennett had an interesting yet successful career in the NFL. Same can be said for his brother Michael. For Martellus, he spent his first 4 years in Dallas behind Jason Witten, so playing time was not a given. It wasn't until 2012 with the Giants where Bennett really made a name for himself in the NFL. He had a few really good years in Chicago, and most notably won a Super Bowl with the Patriots in 2016. In a Sunday Night Football intro in 2016's opener, he introduced himself as Marty, the Imagination Agency.
Marty, the Imagination Agency.
And it left most people saying, what the hell does that mean? The Imagination Agency was actually a multi-platform storytelling studio that Bennett started in 2014, and recently published a children's book around the time of that intro. Nothing like a good plug on Sunday Night Football. Whether it's book writing, newsletters, or short films, Bennett and his series of characters look to inspire children and send positive messages. Alright, one more bonus one. I was pretty conflicted on this, because technically this guy never played a snap in the regular season in the NFL, but his story is amazing and worth sharing. After 3 years of football at Florida State, safety Myron Rolle was drafted in the 6th round by the Tennessee Titans in 2010. His two brothers, Samari and Brian, also played in the NFL. Samari actually had a really good career, and one of my all-time favorite players on Rolle was actually his cousin. At the age of 25, Myron Rolle's NFL career was trending in the wrong direction, having been cut by Tennessee in 2011 and then Pittsburgh in 2012. Though he never appeared in the regular season, Myron did total 10 tackles in 4 preseason games in 2010. As a kid, Myron's brother Marshawn gave him a book called Gifted Hands. Gifted Hands is a memoir that tells the story of Dr. Ben Carson, who grew up in the inner city with poor grades, but went on to become the director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins University Hospital. After football, Rolle was looking for a new direction, and his mother sat him down and reminded him of his second goal in life, which was to pursue neurosurgery. So clearly the book that his brother got him as a kid really made an impact on his life. It was tough for Myron to let go of football, and his side of the story for being released by the Steelers was actually fascinating. The Steelers allegedly told him they were releasing him in favor of somebody else because Myron had other avenues in life. For the guy who made the team over Myron, football was all that guy had. Naturally, I'm curious who they were talking about, but looking at the Steelers' depth chart in 2012, they did have a really good secondary and a couple of rookies, so it could have been some other position, I guess. There's a high chance the cards were stacked against him from the start, and to no fault of his own. NFL teams knew about Rolle skipping his senior year at Florida State to obtain a master's degree at Oxford, and this was during the rising concerns of concussions throughout the NFL. Rolle's talent may have been enough to make an NFL team, but it was not undeniable. But ultimately, he did seem good enough to make an NFL roster, even if it meant just playing special teams. His decision to opt for Oxford rather than the NFL after his junior year may have dropped his draft stock, and for some teams they may have taken him off the draft board completely. We know how it is in the NFL. NFL GMs want guys who love football, and football's all they have, not guys who are just doing it for a living, although guys like that definitely exist. For Myron Rolle, however, it seemed like he really did love football, but sadly for him and others just like him, there's always going to be a stigma around players who have something great to fall back on, and in his case, neurosurgery ain't too shabby. I thought this was a cool idea for a video, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I'll talk to you guys next time.